Hey, how you doing? It's me.
And
It's,
me.
it's Scotty and Sarah. So this is episode 2 of Don't Screw Up Your Relationship by two people that are not relationship experts, and we both have screwed up relationships, and we have been
Screwed over.
screwed over in relationships. So today, in episode 2, we actually we were talking about a lot of stuff on the way here, and I wish I had just turned the camera on during that time. But so being a zombie in your relationship, being a zombie in your relationship, when you start feeling like the relationship is not worth, well, I don't want to say not worth it's zapping everything out of you
Right.
because of the fact that you're losing yourself in the middle of that. So how much of that do you think is it mental abuse, is narcissistic? It's, I mean, what are your thoughts? Because you were like killing it in the car about all this stuff. I was like, man.
I went off on a huge tangent in the car. But no, it's all of the above. It's when you're with somebody who is a narcissist, someone who is mentally abusive, not just physically abusive. I think a lot of times people don't put enough stock into the mental abuse side, because while physical abuse is terrible, don't get me wrong, mental abuse is just as terrible. Because when you kill someone physically, it's like I was saying, when you kill someone physically, you mourn their death, you take them off of the planet, and it's so sad, and people gather and they have a celebration of life, and they talk about the good times and the fun times and the good memories and all that other stuff. But when you kill someone spiritually, or when you kill their just their worth, what makes them fundamentally who they are, that's much worse, because you leave their physical body here, but it's just a shell. So when you've killed someone spiritually, and and everybody I think knows somebody who's either been through this time, or maybe they never recovered from it, maybe it really did, it was ending, that was just it, and the person that you knew to be fun and vibrant and full of life and confidence and just the thing that makes them who they are, if they get with somebody who just kills that person, but you're still left with that physical body of the person that you used to know, where you can look at them and say, where is he? Where is that fun and vibrant and full of life? Where did she go? Where is she? I see her physical body, but it's not the same.
It's a tragedy because, like you said, so we can so readily see somebody, and I have, and maybe you've known people too. But I mean, I've counseled ladies that were in abusive relationships, and you can say to this person, if you don't get out of there, they're going to kill you.
Right.
They're going to kill you. You're not going to survive this. And people are I think, are a lot more open to that than they are if they just see somebody who they're like, well, I mean, but you're doing okay, right? I mean, I know you're not happy, but none of us are really happy in our relationships.
Right.
Which is a travesty of itself, because
we all have ups and downs.
Yeah.
We all have trials and tribulations. We all have things that we need to overcome in our relationship, and it's just a matter of working together to get through the speed bumps, to get to the best part, to get past this hard time or whatever. But what happens when that hard time doesn't ever go away, and what you see in front of you is just a shell of a person? It's not the person that you used to know, and when you're looking at them and you're telling them, oh, it's just, this is bad, this is a bad thing, and they're looking at you going, but wait a second, you told me that I just needed to stick it out, that things were going to get better, that we just had to get over the speed bumps and the hurdles and then we would have our happily ever after. That's what you told me. So now what you're telling me is that you see something completely different. But when I came to you the first time and said, there's something wrong here, instead of, and I'm not saying you personally,
Right,
it's a
right,
collective you.
right.
But I think so oftentimes we tend to Pollyanna situations when we actually have a front row seat to what is happening to these people. And instead of looking at our friend, our son, our daughter, our niece, our cousin, whatever, instead of looking at them and saying, this is what I see and this is what's happening. It might not be physical abuse. I can't see bruises on you. I can't see a black eye on you. You haven't been in the hospital, but that doesn't mean that your spirit is not dying.
Mm-hmm.
And so oftentimes I think abusers, and they just go for that spirit. That's what they try to kill first, because they know that once they extinguish your spirit, that you're just going to do whatever it is that they want you to do.
Yeah, exactly. And abuse is never right in a relationship.
Right.
And abuse is not just physical
It's
abuse.
not just physical.
Because I think that you pretty much nailed it as what it is. And if somebody, if you're watching this, or somebody, or there's someone in your family or in your circle, in your metron, your world, then, or if it's you, there is nothing that says you are supposed to give 100% of yourself,
Right.
to leave it all on the table until there's nothing left of you,
Mm-hmm.
for the sake of a relationship.
Right.
You make an attempt.
Mm-hmm.
You try to make it right. You try to get what you need. You try, within reason, to help the other person, to service the other person for whatever their needs may be. But at some point, you have to save yourself, because if you don't, you lose yourself.
Right.
And this is something that we were talking about. So imagine the person that, their partner, their significant other, whatever, is out doing whatever it is that they do. And they come home every night, and there you are. They're used to you being,
Right.
crying or upset, or waiting for them. And, but when you've had enough, they come in and you're not crying anymore.
Right.
Now you're sleeping, because you're getting ready for the journey,
Right.
that you're about to go on. And you've made that decision that you are going to save yourself,
Mm-hmm.
that you are not going to allow this relationship to kill you.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't want it to seem like we're coming on here advocating, that, well, everybody needs to get out of their relationship.
No, that's not what we're doing. That's not even remotely close to what we're saying.
Right.
Not even remotely close.
Not what we're saying. But there is a if the universe and God wants what's best for you as an individual, the same thing applies to the relationship.
Right.
And it is a sad, sad state of affairs when you are in a relationship and it's killing you.
Yeah.
Just
slowly.
All of these things that you talked about, you become a zombie.
You do.
In the relation, you're the Walking Dead.
You're a shell of the person that you used to be, and it's become to the point where, I have to put on this happy face for my kids. I have to put on this happy face for my friends. I have to put on this happy face for my family. I have to put on this happy face for my job, for my coworkers, because I'm tired. I'm tired of everybody being like, "What's wrong with you?
Mm-hmm.
What's the matter?" Well, okay, so maybe I don't want to talk about it. Maybe I don't want to get into it. But sometimes you just have to. Sometimes you have to say, you know what? I'm not okay.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not okay. This is what's happening to me, and this is what's going on. And when you can be honest with what is actually occurring and you can speak it out loud, that's the part that becomes freeing. That's the part where you can finally stop with the lies. You can finally stop. I am not putting on this happy face anymore. I am not going to pretend that everything is okay anymore, because if I do that, I am going to die. Maybe not physically, but in my spiritual, who makes me, what I project to this world, what I bring to this world is going to die.
Mm-hmm.
And now I'm just going to be just this empty, hollow person that's walking around every day trying to survive.
Right. Right. The decision to whether you are, and it may not be just leaving.
Right.
Sometimes maybe your partner is open to, let's go get counsel, let's go get help.
Right.
But you have to see some produce out of it.
Right.
You got to see a change. If there's no change at some point, then you have to, you have to pull the trigger.
Right.
On the exit plan.
You do, absolutely. Because you have to decide, and I've said this a gazillion times, but only you know when you've had enough.
Right.
Only you know when it's too much. This is too much. It's just too much.
Right.
The constant putting down, the constant criticisms and negativity, and just, you've done everything you can do. You've brought it up to them. You've said, let's go get counseling. Let's try this. Let's try this. Let's try that. Let's try and try and try and try. And then finally it's just to a point where you're the only one trying.
Right.
And the other person is happily content to continue the cycle, to continue the abuse, to continue to berate you and try to bring you down to a point where you are nothing but just a robot, a zombie, a pet, just following orders, so to speak. That's all you're doing. You're just following orders, because once you follow the orders and get in line and stay in line, then all of a sudden everything's great again.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Life is wonderful. Everything's perfect. There's nothing, you know what I mean? It's smooth sailing, or that's what your abuser wants you to think.
Right. And that's not acceptable on any level.
No.
And it's not easy to make the change if you have to make the change. If you're, and you may not be there, but if you are at that point that you have to make the change, you are worth it.
Absolutely.
If we could say anything in the next 3-4 minutes, it's that there is hope on the other side of it.
Absolutely.
There is hope on the other side of it. There is a relationship. There is someone for. Someone said, "You believe there's somebody for everybody?" Well, of course there is.
Mm-hmm.
Now, some people don't want a relationship. They walk out of a relationship and they say, "I've had enough of this. I'm done. I'm good." Me and my cats. We got or dogs. Yeah, or gerbil.
Bird,
whatever
you have.
Owl.
Owl.
For my Harry Potter fans. On the Harry Potter fans. We were at dinner last night and took a quiz to find out what house we were all in. If you know anything about Harry Potter, you can put in the comments who you think was in what house.
That would be interesting. I would like to know that, actually.
Yeah. So you can go in the comments and say, you think Sarah was in what house? What house do you think I was in? But
are we in the same house or different houses?
Oh, Harry Potter. Okay. But so in the last couple of minutes, what I want you to do, because this is kind of heavy stuff, and we just kind of jump in your life and hit you with some stuff and then jump back out. But for this second episode, it is, you have to invest in yourself.
Absolutely.
And if your partner is not investing in you and it's killing you, as has been described, then you have to do what's necessary to invest in yourself.
And it's not being dramatic. We're not being dramatic when we say, that you're slowly being killed, because you are. That is something that's very, very difficult to look in the mirror and say, you know what? I am slowly being killed. My person who I thought was my person that I've invested all of this time into is only interested in destroying my spirit and destroying what makes me me. And once you get to a point where you're looking at yourself in the mirror and going, I don't recognize myself. I cannot remember the last time that I genuinely laughed or genuinely smiled or found just some joy, just a random moment. And we've all had them, just random moments of joy where you find it in the most unexpected places. If you can't honestly look at yourself in the mirror and say, I actually do remember the last time that I had a moment of joy. If you're getting to the point where you can't remember that anymore, it's time to do something.
Time to make a change.
It's time to do something.
Yep. It's time to make a change.
And whether or not your partner comes with you is up to them. You are not responsible for their actions. You are responsible for your actions. You cannot control someone else's actions. All you can do is control yours. And you still have control.
Yeah. You're pretty good at this.
Am I?
Yeah.
I don't know. We'll let the good people judge.
Let the good people know.
Judge the good people judge.
So that brings us to the end of episode 2 of Don't Screw Up Your Relationship, and don't let someone screw you up. We're good enough at doing that ourselves. We don't need extra help.
For sure.
And so I don't have a glass. I cheersed you out last time, so we'll fist bump it out. But until the next episode, let's fist bump it out.